Welcome back to Tutoring by Alejandro. In this video, I'll show you step by step how to solve linear inequalities. These are just like solving equations, but with one important twist that you can't forget. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's start with something simple. So we have 2x plus 3 less than 11. Okay, so step one, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. This is very similar to the way we solve equations, right? When we isolate a variable. So we start with whatever's farthest from the x, right? In this case, it's the plus 3. So since it's adding, we're going to subtract 3 on both sides, okay? So that gives me 2x plus 3 minus 3, right? And whatever I do on one side, I have to do it on the other. So that's 11 minus 3, okay? So the 3's will cancel out on the left, and that leaves me with 2x is less than 11 minus 3 is 8. Okay, great. Now, let's get rid of the 2 on the left. It's multiplying the x, so we'll apply the opposite operation, right? We're going to divide on both sides. Okay, so the 2's will cancel out on the left, and we have x is less than 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, so notice how this is the same process as solving a regular equation. The only difference is we keep the inequality sign. Okay, let's move on to another exercise. Okay, so now here's the most important rule to remember. Let's look at this one. We have negative 3x greater than 12. Okay, so we have to get rid of the negative 3 on the left. It's multiplying the x. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. Let me just rewrite this. Okay, we're going to divide both sides by negative 3, just like we do with a regular equation. Okay, but here's the key. So whenever you divide or multiply by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality sign. Okay, so you have to flip. So if it was a greater than sign, we're going to replace it with a less than sign. Okay, so these cancel out, and I'm left with x is less than 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4, right? So this is the mistake most students make on the SAT. So don't forget, multiply or divide by a negative, you flip the sign, okay? Okay, moving on. Okay, so now we have a compound inequality. So we have negative 2 is less than or equal to x plus 1, and x plus 1 is less than 5. Okay, so here the variable is stuck in the middle. So to get rid of that plus 1, we have to subtract 1 on all sides. In this case, we have 3 parts, right? We have the negative 2 on one part, the x plus 1 in the middle, and then we have the 5. So this comes out to negative 2, right? Minus 1 less than or equal to x plus 1, right? Minus 1, right? Less than 5 minus 1, okay? So on the very left, we have negative 2 minus 1, which gives us negative 3. Then we have less than or equal to. The ones cancel out, right? Which gives us x. And then we have less than 5 minus 1 equals 4. Okay? So this means that x can be any number between negative 3 and 4. Now, including the negative 3 because of the less than or equal sign, right? So, but not including the 4. So notice how the less than sign right before the 4 does not have the equal under it, okay? So if we look at a number line, let's say we have 0, -1, -2, -3 here. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The way you would graph this solution is when you want to be inclusive of the number, like with the -3, we're gonna fill in the circle, right? Okay. Actually, let's use another color. We're gonna fill in the circle. And our solution is gonna range from the -3, including it, all the way up to the 4, but we're not going to include the 4, right? So again, x can be any number between -3 and 4, including the 3, but not including the 4. It can be 3.99999 and so forth, but it can't be 4. Okay, let's move on to a word problem. Okay, so now let's look at a real SAT style problem. We have a rental car costs $50 plus $20 per day. You have $150. What's the maximum number of days you can rent the car? Okay, so here's how we set it up. We're going to use the same framework for any inequality word problem. Okay, so we have step one, we're going to define the variable. So in this case, we're talking about number of days. So we're going to say D is going to be equal to the number of days. Okay, so we define the variable. All right, great. Step two, okay, identify the expression, right? So they're saying the total cost is the fixed $50, right? So no matter what, you're always going to pay those $50, okay? And then they're saying it's plus 20 per day, okay? That per is a multiplication, right? Right? So that means 20 times the number of days, okay? So the expression would be 50 plus 20 times the number of days, 50 plus 20D, okay? Now, the final step, we're going to translate keywords into inequality sign, okay? So they're saying the phrase, they use the phrase is at most $150. Okay, so right, what's the maximum number of days? Right, maximum number of days. This means at most, and when you see maximum or at most, this means less than or equal to. So that's what we're going to use. So we're saying that 50 plus 20 times D is less than or equal to 150. Okay? And then once we have our expression, we're going to solve for it, right? So just like we did before, we have to isolate D. We're going to subtract 50 on both sides, right? So that gives us 50 minus 50 plus 20D less than or equal to 150 minus 50. Okay. The 50s cancel out. So let me just erase those. Okay. And then 150 minus 50 gives me 100, right? Now we'll get rid of the 20. So it's multiplying, so we're going to divide by 20 on both sides. Now, since the 20 is positive, we don't have to flip the less than or equal to sign, okay? We can just um, treat it like a regular equation, right? So we'll get rid of the 20s on the left, and then we have 100 divided by 20, which is 5, right? Okay. And that gives us D is less than or equal to 5. Okay. So that means the maximum number of days we can afford is 5 days. Okay. So you can you can test this out, right? So let's say you choose 6 days, right? So 6 days. What happens there? So what you do is you plug it into the expression we calculated, right? That we made up, right? So we 50 plus 20 d. In this case, we're saying 6 days. And what is that equal to? So that's equal to 50 plus 20 times 6 is 120. 120 plus 50 is 170. So 170 is greater than 150, okay? So we know this wouldn't work. And we also confirm that our solution is correct, right? Okay. So, and that's how you solve linear inequality step by step. So remember, solve just like equations, but with the important caveat that you flip the sign if you multiply or divide by a negative. Okay. And for word problems, just follow the framework, define the variable, write the total expression, translate your keywords, and then solve. Okay, so if this helped, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out my other SAT math videos. And if you'd like tutoring with me, click the link in the description to book a free intro call. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.